Story Gardens friends and family, I'm so excited to be back again with you guys today. This week we are starting our recycling unit, so everything is going to be about the environment and keeping things healthy, and I figured why not have anything better than an earth project for recycling, because the whole purpose of recycling is to clean things up in order to make the world a little bit healthier and the entire earth. So we are going to make globe cookies, and they're going to be sugar cookies that are green and blue blobbed together to make them look like a little earth. So I'm really excited. This project is going to involve chilling your dough in the fridge for some hours. So we're going to make all the dough, throw it in the fridge and let it sit, and then we're gonna come back, form it together, and then throw them in the oven. And I am super excited because I love baking projects and sweets in general. So let's wash our hands and then get started. So I switched it up a little bit this week, and instead of showing you the ingredient list, I went ahead and just put the entire recipe. So feel free to screenshot it, just because there's a little bit more ingredients than I generally do for a video. So make sure you screenshot this and have all of the ingredients and measurements down. So what I'm going to do here is start off with the dry ingredients, and that is going to be 3 cups of flour, half a teaspoon of salt, and 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. And just while you're doing this, make sure that your measuring cups are completely full to the top, like how I'm showing in the video. All right, so what you're going to want to do once you have all the dry ingredients in is just to blend them together very quickly, like just for a few seconds, to get them all mixed and good. And then what you're going to do is add your 1 cup of softened butter. My butter, I had forgot to take it out and let it get to room temperature, so I just had thrown it in the microwave for 30 seconds before throwing it in there. That way it wouldn't be too hard while I was trying to mix it. And then you want to do 1 egg. If you have a large egg, then that will be better, preferably. And after that, all you need to do is put in 1 cup of sugar. Okay, so now that our dough is completely mixed, I have separated it into 2 different bowls in equal amounts. I didn't measure them specifically, I kind of just eyeballed it. But what we're going to do now is dye this dough green, and we're going to dye this dough purple. So I had tried to do this, in the mixer, but what was happening was it was getting more crumbly. So what I'm going to do instead is just throw the green dye here in this bowl and stir it in with a fork. And you can see it is slowly turning green. And then with this one, we are gonna do the same thing, and we're gonna make it blue. And you just wanna use as much food dye until you start to see the colors change. All right, so I had wanted to see the colors get just a little bit more vibrant and mixed in. So what I did was take out a cutting board, or if you have granite countertops, you can do this on granite instead of a cutting board. But then I just dumped the cookie dough on top of it, and I rolled it out with a rolling pin. And what that did was mix the colors as it was flattening out and mashing the cookie dough together, and that made it more vibrant, and it helped disperse the food dye, since I didn't put the food dye in while I did the wet ingredients. And that was just because I wanted to be able to divide the batter into. But as you can see, I'm just putting the green back, and then I'm going to go ahead and repeat the same process with the blue cookie dough. Okay, so now that we have our blue and our green cookie dough kneaded out, what I did was just throw it in the fridge. I put lids on both of those bowls so they're completely sealed, and I'm gonna leave them in there for an entire hour. During this hour, I'm just gonna go ahead and clean my station, because we always want a clean kitchen. Keeping a clean kitchen makes the process easier once we're done, and it also helps make sure our cooking station is a little bit more sanitary while we're cooking. I'm gonna go ahead and preheat the oven to 350 while the cookie dough is cooling down, just so that way the oven will be ready to go ahead and throw them in there once they are chilled in place. And I will see you guys once they are done. In the meantime, maybe some things that you could do while we're taking a little break is think about the colors and the different processes that you use when trying to color the dough, or maybe the consistency of it. If you notice, the longer you blend it for, the more crumbly the dough got. But if you were to smash it back together or knead it with your hands, then the dough became whole again. So just looking at consistency changes, maybe trying to make comparisons to things that kids have experienced in real life, like does it remind them of sand, or does it remind them of Play-Doh, different things, just to work on connection building skills and to make sure that they're really comprehending and understanding everything that they're doing. And definitely trying to get in some math skills there when we are adding the different measurements together, and seeing if they understand why 3 of the half teaspoons of baking powder equate to 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. So just working on these very basic skills, and finding creative ways to learn and educate children while having fun in the kitchen. I'm gonna set that oven to 350 like I said, and I will see you guys back in 1 hour. All right, you guys, so I am back. We have our oven on 350, and it has been 1 hour. Both of my colors are completely chill, and what I'm gonna do now is just take pieces of dough, so however much you want, because it's pretty stiff now, and we're gonna form them into little balls, but we are going to mix the green and the blue, because earth is green and blue. And we are gonna go ahead and make a bunch of little globe shapes on our pan, and just fuse your blue and green together. And after we have all these done, I'm gonna show you a picture, and I'm throwing them in the oven. I'm gonna check on 8 minutes, but generally for these cookies, all you want is just 8 to 10 minutes in the oven and they should be good to go, because cookies continue to cook after you take them out the oven because the pan that they're on is still hot and they're really thin. So that's why you don't have to leave them in for any longer. Depending on your cookie you have, it might even only need like 5 minutes. But we're gonna go ahead and do 8 to 10 minutes in the oven for these ones, and I will show you the final products. And I hope you guys really enjoyed this project and you enjoyed working with the colors of the week, which are blue and green, and being able to identify the differences in those colors, and maybe even remembering that blue and yellow are primary colors that create green. So you couldn't even have the green, or in this case the land, without having the blue or the water to begin with. And that is another Earth Day recycling connection that I have for you guys. I hope that everyone continues to recycle and learns a lot about keeping the environment safe this week. And I will see you guys tomorrow with another recycling snack video. Bye. All right, and here is the final product of what the cookies look like after they came out the oven. And I did only end up leaving them in there for 8 minutes, just for your reference. I hope you guys tune in tomorrow for our next recycling snack video.